Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. Well, I guess I could start off with the obvious thing that everybody probably thinks I'm already going to talk about. So let's just get that out of the way. Elon Musk made a bid to buy Twitter. Yep, let's take a look at this. We saw this first thing this morning. Brett Taylor, chairman of the board. I invest in Twitter as I believe in its potential to be the platform for free speech around the globe. And I believe free speech is a societal imperative for a functioning democracy. Heavy words right there. I agree. However, since making my investment, I now realize the company will neither thrive nor serve this societal imperative in its current form. Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company. Here we go again. As a result, I am offering to buy 100% of Twitter for $54.20 per share in cash. A 54% premium over the day before I began investing in Twitter, and a 38% premium over the day before my investment was publicly announced. My offer is my best and final offer. If it is not accepted, I would need to reconsider my position as a shareholder. Twitter has extraordinary potential. I will unlock it. So when I first read that this morning, I literally got goosebumps whenever I read the part, I will unlock it. I don't know if any of you guys did or not, but man, that was heavy. So as you can tell here, Elon making an offer to buy Twitter, pretty straightforward, pretty clear cut. There's even this extra added part here. I'll read this real quick. Actually, I'll just get straight to the point. So essentially he's saying, best and final. I am not playing the back and forth game. I have moved straight to the end. It's a high price and your shareholders will love it. If the deal doesn't work, given that I don't have confidence in management, nor do I believe I can drive the necessary change in the public market, I would need to reconsider my position as a shareholder. This is not a threat. It's simply not a good investment without the changes that need to be made. And those changes won't happen without taking the company private. My advisors and my team are available after you get the letter to answer any questions. You can reach me essentially at my office. So this is what was dropped this morning. This is what you see all over right now. It's what everyone's talking about. Elon Musk was even on the TED Talk today in Canada. I haven't finished watching the whole thing, but one of the first things that came up was talking about this, talking about Twitter, talking about what Elon wants. And essentially what Elon wants is a place where people can speak freely. Now, that doesn't mean that you can incite violence or riots or anything like that. Elon was clear about it. He said, essentially, you should govern based on what the given country's rules are. All right. So in a given country, you can't go in a movie theater and yell fire, right? That's inciting a riot. That's inciting a situation that freaks people out and can cause a stampede, etc. That's not allowed legally, or it shouldn't be allowed on Twitter. However, if there's a gray area that an algorithm can't figure something out, and then it has to go to a given individual to make a decision to be the person who determines if this is something that needs to be blocked or deleted or whatnot, what Elon's take is, then we should then we should caution on the side of free speech. We should caution on the side of say it. Okay, we would rather you say it than not. And I feel so strongly about this as well. I mean, this to me seems like a pretty clear-cut thing. Look, at the end of the day, the way I see it, besides things like violence or blatant racism, things like that, but things where are gray, or maybe people can be misinterpreted, or things can be said out of context, right? I mean, at some point you have to give some grace with those things, right? And sometimes like we take things and we clip out videos to show something, but then we need to give whole context of everything. And next, someone's banned for a reason or another, right? Or it's just an opinion that you don't agree with, right? I loved what Elon said during the TED Talk. And I might butcher this, but he was saying Twitter should be, the way you know that you have free speech is if a person that you hate or that you strongly don't like says something that you don't agree with and you think is wrong, and they're still allowed to say it. That is free speech, okay? He said it's annoying when people say things that you don't agree with and that aren't right, but they should have the ability to say that. They shouldn't be censored from saying that. And at that point, that is free speech. And that's kind of what he has envisioned for Twitter. And he even goes on to say, I don't have all the answers, right? But I think there are many things we could do to help things out. And there's a lot of things happening behind, the veil that we don't know about, right? Certain tweets being promoted, certain things being pushed, right? And that's why he's so adamant about essentially taking the code, open sourcing it, throwing it on GitHub so people can go in and they can go with the fine-tooth comb and say, hey, what is this? What's happening here? Or this could be improved, right? So essentially giving it back to the people, because it should be the people's platform. It should be the people's town square. So I thought this was pretty interesting this morning. Don't want to spend too much time on this because I do have some other stuff I want to talk about. So let's go ahead and talk about Ford. Ford is set to release their F-150 Lightning that's supposed to come out in April. Now, there's an article that came out, and I thought it was pretty comical just reading through it. At one point, they were talking about how Ford had decided, well, with their electric vehicle, they can't just create a battery on wheels, and they have to be innovative. And so they took all these people, they needed to come up with new inventions, and they pulled all these users and everything. And you know what they came up with? That's how they come up with the Frunk, apparently, or the Mega Frunk. Like, it was kind of comical just to read this. And I don't know if this is just the Bloomberg reporter, columnist, whoever it was, or if these are direct quotes from like Jim Farley and his team, or if there's, I don't know. All I know is this was comical. The fact that you had a whole panel of teams and no, we don't care about an extended bed that can work kind of as an elevator. We don't care about having a scale in the bed to know how much load we have. No, we want a frunk. So you want a box. That's all you wanted was a box. That's your innovative idea, a box. All right. Yeah, okay. You're never going to catch Tesla, ever, if that's your goal. And the funny thing is, take a look at this. And I don't know if Jim Farley signed off on this or not, but, ooh, man, you are poking the bear. Look at this. Bloomberg Business Week. This is Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, in a F-150, presumably Lightning. You would hope so. And it's him inside of it, and it says, hey, Elon, this is a truck. Ooh. Man, I don't know. Ford is about to electrify America's favorite vehicle and test Tesla's dominance. Yeah, I think this is gonna age pretty bad. I mean, I think, look, the majority in the article said it. This isn't me just making BS up. So if the article's wrong, then I'm wrong. So let's hope that Bloomberg got their information right. The majority owners of F-150s are something like 57, 60-year-old white males. Okay, that's the predominant cohort of people who own F-150s. They do not, apparently, this article says, they are not interested in electrified vehicles at all. So, supposedly, Jim Farley and Ford have this huge backlog of demand for F-150s that they essentially had to stop reservations. You know how many they had? 200,000 reservations. What does the Cybertruck have? Over 2 million now. So, yeah, that's a big difference. I mean, factor of 10 there. So, anyways, the fact that they honestly think that they're going to be able to just come in here, create this market with F-150 trucks, and push it towards people who don't want it, but nope, instead we're going to pivot. And all these, apparently what they're saying, these 200,000 reservations are from people who never were Ford people. They never were truck people. But now, with the new powertrain, all of a sudden now I want to be a truck person. Look, I find that kind of hard to believe. Hey, we'll see what happens. Proof is in the numbers. We'll see how this evolves. But I just have a feeling that there's not going to be much going on here. I have a feeling, I'm not saying they're not going to sell any. I'm sure they'll sell some. But I don't think it'll be as big as their ICE vehicle division. I don't think it'll be as profitable as their ICE vehicle position. And I think they will end up Osborning themselves. All right. I think this is just going to be kind of like the beginning of the end. I honestly have more hope for GM than I do for Ford when it comes to this, because at least GM seems to be taking proactive measures to try to get into battery development. And they're trying. I mean, it looks like they're trying, or maybe it's just all window dressing, but it looks like they're trying a little harder. All right, let's get into some more Tesla stuff. We have, before we get into this, actually, if you enjoy this type of content and you want to help the channel out, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. Hitting the like button definitely helps get this channel out to more people, so I do appreciate it. And if you want to help support the channel, you can find my Patreon link down below. And along with the Patreon link, you can also find our merch store. We've got some cool stuff here. We will be correcting this. We'll switch out the Austin to Berlin so that they're flipped, so they're in the proper order. So we are working on that now. But with that said, I want to talk about Tesla questions that you can vote now for when it comes to the quarterly earnings. So this got opened up, and so let me share my screen real quick, and I want to show you guys. So this is say.com, all right? I'll leave a link down below for you guys to go and sign up and view the questions and vote for the questions. But essentially the way it works is it's a weighted system. So you sign up, you log in, and when you sign up, what you're really doing is tying your brokerage account to it. And the whole reason for that is so that whenever you vote, it acknowledges how many shares you have, because the amount of shares you have create a weight on the actual question. So for example, if I come here, if I were to vote this up, you can see this number just changed from 265 to 266, right? If I unvote it, you'll see it goes back down to 265, up again, 266.3, right? You can kind of see how that changes. Now, this is only using one of my brokerage accounts, so I have to sign in with, multiple different brokerage accounts just to change this, but you get the picture. This is a great way for you guys to be involved and have no pun intended, a say on what's being asked. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of review some of the top questions here. You can already see I voted on a few of these. I'll go over the ones that I voted for that I'm really curious about. So here's one question. Will Berlin, Austin ramp up at a faster rate than Shanghai did? Given Tesla is producing Y, which you have done at scale already at other factories, can you talk us through some of the major improvements that will make this possible? So this is one I'm really curious about. Not so much about Berlin, but mainly about Austin. I'm under the impression that Austin's going to scale slower because the limiting factor, I think, at Austin will be the 4680s and see how those scale. I mean, if the 4680 scales fine, I see no reason why Austin wouldn't scale up fast. But Berlin, I think, has an easier time to scale because they're going to be on the 2000 series batteries. They're going to essentially be shipped in, ready to go. So I think Berlin will be a little bit of an easier ramp than Austin. So I'm just curious to see how they touch on that and see if they cover that. Is there a proposed stock split ratio? I kind of don't like this question coming from us as the investment crowd asking the questions. Keep in mind, these are questions that they'll ask from retail investors. But then you'll also have analysts and them asking their own questions. And I'm pretty sure analysts are going to ask this question. So I kind of don't like this, but I voted it up anyways. What is the current run rate of the 4680 cell production at Fremont and at Giga Texas? What do you expect the run rates for 4680 to be in Fremont, Texas, and Berlin at the end of the year? Or at year end? Yeah, so again, I'm not going to regurgitate everything I just said, but this is the same thing I was talking about before. I'm just really curious to see what the plan is for 4680 and see how that's going. All right, let's talk about one more here. FSD has come a long way. Can Tesla consider launching a geofence fleet in locations like Phoenix? While we solve the general autonomy, it would still be great to have at least one location show the world the proof and concept. FSD already performs flawlessly in these locations. So I don't really care about Phoenix personally, but where I live here in downtown St. Petersburg, again, we've talked about this. This is where the new Tesla facility will be, 100,000 square feet, I think it was. This is where ARK Invest is, Tom Brady, Gronkowski, right? They're all here. But I think here FSD would work flawlessly. I think you could literally get rid of Ubers and Lyfts, and even if you just geofenced, what we have over here, it's very easy to drive around here. The only thing that makes it hard are just bad drivers. So that's the only real hiccup. Other than that, it's sunny the majority time of the year. It's good weather. We have great road markings. So I think the Tesla would really thrive here, at least to do that, to do like a geo-located, kind of fence and just to test it out, right? And just go from there and just see what happens. It would also be cool to see it on the Vegas loop, see if that was going on, or see if that becomes successful. I want to talk about one last thing before I wrap up. And I'm going to make a more in-depth video probably tomorrow talking about the the TED Talk. Like I said, I'm halfway through it, and I just want to digest it a little more. I know a lot of people have come out and talked about and tweeted about it, but I think there's a lot said, and I just kind of want to take it all in before I actually give my thoughts and remarks on it. But I want to talk about a video I saw today with Chuck Cook. For those of you who don't know, he lives in Jacksonville, Florida. He's a very popular FSD beta tester. He's just a good guy. If you haven't seen his videos, you should watch it. You know, I really enjoy his content. But he was recently in a car accident on the highway on I-95, and in that accident, something happened. He looked in his rear view mirror, and he just sees this like this trike, right? This motorcycle that's 3 wheels, just essentially spinning out of control. So he immediately pulled off to the side. He went back, and you could just tell in the video when he's talking about this, it was devastating. Unfortunately, the individual passed away. It's very sad, but the police showed up and everything, and they asked to go and look at the dash cam that the Tesla has. And so, of course, Chuck Cook, he said, yeah, let's look at it, because he was starting to fear, like, did I do something? Did I not pay attention and something happened? He wasn't using FSD, but he was on autopilot, right? So as you all know, autopilot works essentially flawlessly on the highway. But yeah, he was using autopilot. And so, in his mind, obviously it creeps in, like, did I do something? Did I miss something? And so they were there with the cops. They pull it up, and right with the dash cam, essentially you can see what's going on all around you. And in his video, he stressed the importance of people who have a Tesla. Make sure you know how to use this, because you never know when something like this can happen. It can help people, understand what happened in the situation. It could protect you from potentially being accused of something that didn't actually happen. And it could just, give peace of mind to people. Well, they looked at the dash cam, and what they found out was, as the trike, the 3-wheel motorcycle, was driving down the highway, the person didn't do anything wrong. They weren't goofing around. They were being a responsible driver. They're just driving. But one of the wheels just came off. And as that wheel came off, they lost control. And then they hit Chuck Cook's quarter panel in the back. And so that's what he felt. Now, luckily for Chuck, he was on autopilot. And what Chuck observed afterwards was that even though the Tesla got hit in the quarter panel, it didn't freak out. It still maintained lane. It swerved like a very little bit, but it took control. And that's something that, as a human, you probably wouldn't have been able to do. You probably been freaking out. A computer doesn't freak out, right? A computer assesses what's happening in the situation, and it reacts accordingly. Unfortunately for the individual, he passed away. It's very sad for his family. But the good thing, and something that Chuck was saying that I thought it was pretty heavy, and it's worth me talking about it today in today's episode, was that because the Tesla had cameras all around, because they had that dash cam, at the very least, that individual's family can know that this wasn't a matter of the individual doing something silly. This wasn't a result of somebody else, hitting them on accident. I mean, this was honestly just a horrible accident, a freak incident where the tire just flew off, and obviously that doesn't fix anything, but at the very least, that family can have somewhat of a peace of mind knowing that it wasn't a stupid thing that individual was doing, right? I mean, it somehow you got to think that helps you a little bit. This also kind of, hits home for me a little bit. 2 days ago, I was in my office downstairs, and we hear this loud bang. I run outside, and there is a very clear car accident. There was a T-bone incident, and one car was able to move outside of traffic, but the other vehicle was sitting there on one of the main arteries. And I'm barefoot, but I run out there, and I'll put up a couple pictures. They're not too graphic, so don't worry about that. But I ran out there. I was barefoot, and I'm just like sitting there. I'm looking inside the window, and I'm yelling like, "Are you okay?" And there's a lady in there just like kind of screaming and crying, saying that she can't get out. Like her door wouldn't open. So I literally had to sit there and rip the door open just to get her out. Now, luckily, nobody seemed injured. Everybody seemed fine. But what happened? Well, she ran a stop sign, or she didn't come to a complete stop. And this is yet again where I think people underestimate the power of something like full self-driving, even if it's not complete, full self-driving plus human, all right? Full self-driving plus human is superior than just human. Full self-driving probably would have stopped her from going past that stop sign, right? And she ended up T-boning someone. And just think of what could have happened, right? I mean, luckily nobody was hurt, nobody died or anything in this situation. But again, these are things we don't need to be doing anymore. These are accidents and mistakes, and cost money for them, insurance, potential lives. I mean, you just don't know the ripple effects an accident like this can happen. I mean, even something like it caused traffic, and now an ambulance couldn't get somewhere on time because somebody else, and it was seconds of life. I mean, you don't know what could happen. So if we as humans can get past this, if we as humans can evolve to get to a world where we have autonomous vehicles, I think it can only do good for society. I love to drive. I'm not saying nobody should drive ever. But what I am saying is that there are better ways for everyday mundane driving. If you want to go have fun and drive around, I get that. That's fun. It's passion. It's, to be behind the wheel. Like it's fun. Right? Who doesn't like fun? But you can't tell me that you love driving every single day to go to the grocery store, that you love driving home from work, sitting in traffic, that you love driving to go visit your relatives during the holidays. Like, sorry, that's not fun driving. At least it's not to me. So those are my thoughts. Again, I feel for Chuck Cook. I'm sure that was kind of a devastating experience for him. I feel for the family. It's never easy to lose a loved one. So thoughts and sympathies for all of you out there. Chuck, again, had a beautiful message about this. So go check out his channel. Just YouTube Chuck Cook, and you'll see it. There's no ads or anything. I mean, he was just speaking from the heart. And again, he's just a good guy. So if you want to check it out, go take a look at it. All right, we're going to leave it there for today. Like I said, I'll probably make a video tomorrow giving my deeper thoughts on Elon's TED Talk. If you're wondering about the stock price, ignore it. It's just noise today. Everybody's freaking out thinking, oh, Elon's going to have to sell all these shares just to pay to buy in Twitter. Like it's honestly like the freak out here. This is clearly algorithm based, and retail sellers just kind of freaking out. It's noise. Ignore it. That's not how any of this would be done. I'm not going to go at details about it. You can just go on Twitter. You can see Gary Black kind of like explain like what Elon would rationally do. Like it would be silly. And even Elon actually touched on it during the TED Talk, at least the portion I've seen, where he would try to bring in as many investors as he can legally as a private company. So if you're worried about that, don't worry about it. Elon would appoint a CEO. None of this will be a distraction for Elon. Like Elon is still focused on what he needs to do. And for other people to think that they know what Elon should be doing with his time or shouldn't, like I think Elon knows how to time manage just fine. All right. With that said, look, I appreciate if you stuck to the end. Truly, I appreciate all of you. I think having this channel, all of you guys, it's been very humbling. And I don't know, you see things like this happen to other people, and it just kind of makes you step back and reflect about what matters. And again, I'm just honored that any of you spend time watching me. So thank you. None of this would be possible without you. So again, like I always say, I love you all. Peace.